Friends, at this moment, I'd like to share to you this important passage in the book of Romans 12 verse 2 as to how we will approach the will of God. It is written, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Christians say all the time that they want to know the will of God. They say that if only they knew God's will in a certain matter, then they will be willing to do it. It's easy for us to say we want God's will, but it's not nearly as easy to put ourselves in the position where we can discern God's will. Sometimes, the will of God stares us in the face and we are not able to recognize it for what it is. The first thing we must do in order to put ourselves in the proper position is to stop conforming to the pattern of this world. The world has its own perspective on what everything is all about, and if we want to have been conformed to these points of view, we will not be able to interpret what is going on in our lives as we should be. The priorities of the world are different from God's priorities. The second thing we must do in order to put ourselves in the proper position is to be transformed by the renewing of your minds. We must purge our conformity to the pattern of this world by changing our outlook on life. The best way to do this thing is to read the Bible. Yes, friends, the Bible is God's will par excellence. How can we recognize the will of God in life if we are not familiar with the Bible? How can we recognize the will of God if we have only been exposed to the will of the world? If we stop conforming ourselves to the pattern of this world, and if we renew our minds through the Word of God, then we will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Yes, my dear friends, we will be able to do this because we will know what to look for. The sincere person who has taken the time to change his outlook on life will be rewarded with a greater ability to discern the will of God. Do you want to know the will of God? Take time, my dear friends, and every day invest your time in the renewing of your mind.